Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Thursday, November 14th, 2024 is now called to order. All board members and legal counsel are present. First, we have approval of our minutes from the meeting on November 7th, 2024.
If there are no questions or corrections, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting on November 7th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next are claims for payment dated November 15th, 2024 in the amount of $202,234.74.
I'll make a motion to approve claims for payment for November 15th, 2024 in the amount of $202,234.74.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We also have payroll claims for payment dated November 15th, 2024 in the amount of $803,728.52.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll claims for payment for November 15th, 2024 in the amount of $803,728.52.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have two handicap sign renewals for 613 South 10th Street and 444 South 14th Street, and all paperwork appears to be on file with the clerk's office.
I'll make a motion to approve the handicap sign renewal requests at 613 South 10th Street and 444 South 14th Street.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First contract we have is contract number 192, 2024 with Guide Studio. We have Beth Fields from the Mayor's Office to present this contract.
Good evening.
Evening.
The Mayor's Office is requesting approval of Contract 192, 2024 with Guide Studios to provide branding services for the City of Richmond. They will work with the community to identify the brand and then develop different guidelines and pieces that we can use in promoting that brand and permeating that through all that we do with our website and all of our communications pieces. This contract is in an amount not to exceed $43,000. I lift that up so I can see with my glasses. $50.
Beth, is this an ongoing contract? Is this a new company? Can you kind of give a little bit more background for the people watching?
Sure. This is new. We did a request for proposal process and scored those proposals, and then we did interviews with companies. And then this company was selected. This is a one-time contract where they will develop, in conjunction with the community, a brand identity, as well as something that we can then utilize through the website and through our communication pieces that we share out with the public.
Mr. President, if there's no more further questions or comments, I make a motion to approve contract number 192, 2024 to Guide Studio in the not-to-exceed amount of $43,050 as presented by Beth Fields as the lowest and most responsive bid.
Second.
Motion's been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have contract number 199, 2024 with Maverick Data Systems. We have Police Chief Weatherly to present this contract.
Thank you. So the Richmond Police Department's requesting approval of contract number 199-2024. This is for 15 warrant builder subscriptions. Warrant builder is something that will assist our investigations unit and decrease the amount of time it may take to actually write a search warrant. It comes with preloaded language from all the different social media apps that are required by their company, plus the language that is required by our local prosecutor's office. I know this actual software will cut time for a warrant to be written from hours to minutes. So this contract is not to exceed $3,750.
Chief Weatherly, it sounds like there's a return on your investment here and time safe.
Correct.
Which is great for the citizens to know. If There are no more further questions or comments. I make a motion to approve contract number 199, 2024 to Maverick Data Systems in the not-to-exceed amount of $3,750 as presented by Police Chief Kyle Weatherly as the lowest and most responsive bid.
Second.
Motion's been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And finally, on our agenda, we have the continuation of a vicious dog hearing from the November 7th meeting. So the point of this part of the meeting is for the board to present their findings consistent with Richmond City Code, Chapter 91.15D2, which have been deemed necessary to protect public safety. So at this time, I think I would call on the other two board members to read any statements that they'd like to make before I go into some proposed findings, or findings to vote on this evening. Board Member Purvis, if you'd like to go first.
Sure. I'll begin by saying that my preference in this scenario would be an option that allows Ash to be rehomed and rehabilitated elsewhere, which is an option that is not specifically authorized by the Richmond City Code. Chapter 91 of the code essentially provides the board with two options: to allow the dog to continue living with its current owner, subject to the stringent restrictions that accompany the vicious dog determination, or to be euthanized. As the Board of Public Works and Safety, I think it is our responsibility to consider the safety and peace of minds of everyone in this neighborhood. I've tried to put myself in the minds of those living near the dog in question, asking myself how I would feel about my own small kids playing outside, knowing what I know about this dog. With that in mind, given the severe nature of and outcome of the September 14th attack, combined with Mr. Haynes' accounts of previous incidents, I think our priority is to have Ash removed from the neighborhood, and euthanasia is the only realistic avenue that is available to us via the city code. Therefore, while I do remain open to being persuaded otherwise, I have come to today's meeting prepared to exercise the board's additional powers and vote for the dog to be euthanized.
Thank you, Dustin. Board Member Loatman, do you have anything you want to say as well?
Yes, I will echo the position of Member Purvis, and I'll also say that this is the worst part of this job. We signed up to do a duty, and typically we deal with contracts, and every once in a while we get a situation where an animal is involved. And when an animal is involved, it's not the animal, it's the owner. The dog doesn't choose where he lives, he doesn't choose who his owner is, and we have to consider the safety of the neighborhood foremost. And as Member Purvis said, I concur with what he said, and unfortunately, I'll be happy to, not happy, but we'll have to vote to euthanize this animal unless there's another option of rehoming it elsewhere.
All right, thank you both. This time I will read through some proposed findings that we can make a vote on this evening. I think before we do make a vote, would like to give Ash's owner, Brandon Wood, the opportunity to make any final statements to the board based on these findings. So, Brandon, once I read these, I will call you up if you're willing to come speak into the podium. If not, that's fine. So, on September 14th, 2024, a black pit bull owned by Brandon Wood of 1911 Valley Drive in Richmond, Indiana, jumped the owner's fence and attacked Miss Joyce DeVito's dog, Lily, also injuring Miss DeVito while she attempted to get the dog from Lily. The victim's dog was taken to an animal hospital in Dayton, Ohio, and died from its injuries, according to written correspondence from MedVet Dayton on September 15th, 2024, that can be found in Exhibit A from the November 7th hearing. At the regular Board of Public Works and Safety meeting on November 7th, 2024, the board voted by the majority of a quorum to deem the dog in question as vicious, per Chapter 91.15 of the Richmond City Code, based on the fact that the dog killed another dog without provocation. Per Chapter 91.15 of the Richmond City Code, the Board of Public Works and Safety has additional powers in vicious dog cases. These powers include ordering impoundment of the dog until the automatic requirements of the code are met, ordering sterilization of the dog, or ordering euthanasia of the dog. From the owner, Brandon Wood's testimony under oath at the November 7th hearing, the dog in question has jumped the same fence that was jumped before attacking Miss Joyce DeVito and her dog, quote-unquote, between 10 to 15 to 20 times. An email from a Matt Haynes dated November 6th, 2024 outlines an incident that he states occurred between March 3rd and March 11th, 2024, where he was attacked by the same dog, a black pit bull, residing at 1911 Valley Drive when it jumped the backyard fence and attempted to attack his dog, eventually biting one of his fingers and drawing blood. Additionally, a written statement that can be found in Exhibit A from the November 7th hearing, written by Mindy DeVito according to her answer to Animal Control Officer Durbin's question during that hearing, states that Ms. DeVito and Lily were pursued by the same black pit bull in the spring of 2024 after it jumped the fence at 1911 Valley Drive. In this instance, Ms. DeVito was able to collect Lily and bring her inside before any serious injuries were inflicted other than an injury to one of Lily's claws. Ms. DeVito confirmed under oath during questioning from Board and Public Works and Safety members that this incident was with the black pit bull rather than another dog during the hearing last week. When deciding to order impoundment, sterilization, or destruction of a vicious dog, the board must consider the following factors: the nature of any injury inflicted by the dog and whether the injury was inflicted on a property or on a human being, prior acts of viciousness or dangerousness of a dog and the owner's knowledge of the dangerous or vicious characteristics of the dog and the dog's propensity towards dangerousness or viciousness, and finally, the likelihood that the owner will comply with the requirements of Richmond City Code, Chapter 91.15. Chapter 91.15 of the code also states that the board's findings, if ordering additional actions, should be such that such sanctions are necessary to protect the public safety. And finally, based on prior incidents with the black pit bull, the fact that the dog has regularly jumped the fence in 1911 Valley Drive in the last year and a half, and the nature of injuries inflicted on Ms. DeVito's dog Lily that ultimately led to Lily's death, the Board of Public Works will be voting tonight to order that the black pit bull be euthanized in accordance with Richmond City Code 91.5 D1C. So I think at this time, Brandon, if there's any final statements that you'd like to make for the record before this board votes, you'd be welcome to come up, but again, you are not required to.
And just a reminder that you had been previously sworn.
Yep. So Brandon, when you're ready, go ahead.
So the other acts that we were talking about wasn't reported to the police department and not reported at all. Mr. Haynes, who had gotten bit on his hand, I don't remember the exact situation that happened with him, but I know he had tried to grab Ash. I have tried to grab a dog that was unfamiliar with me, and I got bit, and it was, I would say, expected. If you try to grab a dog that is unfamiliar with you and you are unfamiliar with it. Ash, he's no threat to any person, no human, no threat. If he wanted to attack Miss DeVito, he would have kept attacking her when she kicked him instead of not attacking her. She did attack the dog viciously. The laws that you guys have in place for a vicious dog act I have complied with, and it guarantees an act like this cannot happen. He's going to be muzzled outside. He's going to be on a 4-foot leash. He's going to be on a leash held by an adult. He's never getting out the fence. He's never, has no chance for an incident to ever happen. And that is what the laws for of a vicious dog for me to comply with, is to completely eliminate this whole incident process. I've complied with all the steps. I have everything in place. This happened over 2 months ago. There has been absolutely no problems. I don't know. I don't think he needs to be put down for it. It's just a terrible, terrible incident. I don't know. I don't think he deserves to be put down. He's no threat to a human. He's no threat to definitely no kids. just no threat at all. And if he's going to be outside, he's going to be muzzled. He's going to be on a leash. I mean, there's just absolutely no chance that this could ever happen again. He goes outside, goes to the bathroom, a couple minutes, he's back inside. And with that time that he's outside, he's on a leash now. He's being held by an adult. Like I said, he's going to be muzzled. He couldn't have the chance to bite anybody or anything. He's a good dog. I mean, I know it might not seem like it with what happened here, but he is a good dog. Him jumping the fence as many times as he has, yes, but it wasn't like he jumped the fence and I knew he wasn't never being aggressive outside of the fence. He'd literally hop the fence and like I'd open the back door and he'd just come running right back. He'd hop the fence and play with the neighbors. I mean, other than the Mr. Haynes incident where I did hear about it getting his hand, he's never had nothing's ever came up to me about him being out and aggressive. Should I have done a lot better of a job making sure that he stayed in the backyard? Yes. I tried certain things and it was getting better, but I should have done a whole lot better on my own part to make sure it didn't happen ever again. I never imagined this would be the outcome of him hopping the fence one day and doing this. Terribly sorry. I still don't believe he deserves to lose his life over it.
Anything else you want to say, Brandon, at this time?
I don't really think so.
Okay. Thank you. At this point, are there any other final statements by the board members? And if there are not, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. President, so I did a little bit more due diligence on this, and I just want to be very clear with Mr. Wood that, you know, I would prefer that the dog be rehomed elsewhere. That ensures the community, gives the dog a chance. I did speak to people that I know. One lives in Rochester, New York, specifically deals with pit bulls that are turned into shelters. Asked him his opinion on pit bulls in general. I actually have a business analyst who works for me who works at a shelter who deals with pit bulls as well. I do know Mr. Haynes. I did take the opportunity to speak with Mr. Haynes about the event. He detailed what had happened at the event. And you have to understand too, he's protecting his dog at the same time. So I understand why he probably got bit. But at the end of the day, like I said, our goal here is what is going to provide safety to that neighborhood. And with that, I'll make a motion to grant permission, I guess is the word, or I don't know exactly the terminology here that we need to use for the movement, or the motion for euthanasia.
So the board cannot do that unless this is something that is agreed upon by the owner. This is outside the purview of the Richmond City Code, which I believe we talked about briefly or discussed via email. So that motion, is technically outside of the purview of the scope of the Richmond City Code.
Are you referring to a motion for rehoming or something similar?
No, not rehoming,
But the euthanasia, ordering
euthanizing.
the youth.
Oh, okay. If that's going to be the motion, I would recommend that you phrase it in such a way that I make a motion to impose the additional sanction of having the dog euthanized in accordance with 91.15, and I believe Matt put it in
I think it
his
was D1C.
D1C,
Yep.
based upon the findings of fact discussed by each of the board members.
All right, let's try this again. I make a motion to, what was the one word, the first word you used? Sorry, I was trying to follow you all there.
It was impose.
I make a motion to
Impose
impose the additional
the additional
sanction
sanction
of euthanasia.
of euthanasia as detailed in Code 91.15.A.1C, based upon the findings of this board.
Second.
All right, motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And Kim, before we adjourn, are there any final procedural comments that you need to make?
Yes, so because this is also a separate action of the board, there is another 20 calendar day appeal period. The prior appeal period that I announced back on November 7th would still be in play, but because of this determination, there is a new 20 calendar day appeal period in which you could appeal this decision to the Wayne County Circuit or Superior Court. So that's 20 days from today's date for that part of it. And I think that pretty much covers it. It's not going to toll the other appeal period, determining that it was a vicious dog hearing, or sorry, that it was a vicious dog. That's still running.
Thank you, Kim. All right, and we are now adjourned.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.